All right, Virgo. So this week from Lay Vampire, you pulled That Death Will Come, Mortal, Finite, and Fragile. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Passion. Now, I like That Death Will Come because it is a reminder that life is too short. We only have a certain amount of time in this meat suit, so we need to make the most of it. The blessing here says that knowing we have one lifetime at a time to make changes, learn lessons, and move closer to the true purpose of our soul is a blessing. Knowing that each lifetime must not be wasted and is precious is a gift that compels us to lead lives of meaning. And then working with this card talks about honestly creating meaning in each day and to choose to make the very best of the time that you have. Every day is a gift and make it count. And then when you look at passion, it's basically saying that your life is too short not to follow your passions. The inspiration says you are correct to feel passionate about your position. Follow your instincts, for you know intuitively what is right for you. The personal question says, are my daily actions supporting my real passion? What am I willing to stand for? The key ideas are following your passion, being authentic, taking a stand for yourself, being acknowledged, being emotionally centered, and a happy outcome. I love it. I think it's perfect. And I think it goes along with what I was saying last week about how you need to experience life because life is too short. This lifetime is. All right, Virgo, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. The Nine of Pentacles, nice. So self-reliance, feeling independent, being able to create your own stable foundation. And it is also suggesting that financially you're doing well. But whenever I see this card, I think of somebody who is getting to enjoy life. But also, you don't need anybody else to help you create this stable foundation. And this is where your focus is, which is perfect. And in the past, and you're busting your ass to get there, which is, again, no surprise for Virgo. The Eight of Pentacles, this could suggest that for some of you, you're really enjoying what you're doing. Whatever your work is creating some really good, and I mean really good, financial security for you, which is perfect to see. Oh, speaking of passion, the Ace of Wands. I like seeing this, especially with the Nine of Pentacles. So, for the single Virgos, you look fantastic. For those of you who are in a relationship, I think that, you may be the breadwinner here. But when you're looking at the Ace of Wands, it's new creative passions, new creative ideas. I look at the Ace of Wands as like not just passion for, creative endeavors, but there's also passion in love and relationship as well. It is a new beginning, but beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh, what are you afraid of, Virgo? What is happening? The Eight of Swords. Here's the thing. If you have a new opportunity coming through to you to follow your passion, you cannot be stuck in mental fear. With the Eight of Swords being future conditions, to me, it's saying that you're just trapping yourself and not really making the most of this. And it may be because you're comfortable where you're at. Oh, that bothers me. That bothers me. You guys very much are an earth sign, and I feel like everything on the earthly plane looks great for you guys, but anything that, involves like passion, you're like, wait a minute. And it's funny because I say that Virgo sometimes reminds me of air signs. When I have conversations with Virgos, I don't ever have to worry about asking them, well, what does the other person say? Or what does the other person think or feel? Most people, when you're talking to them, will say, well, I said this and I did this and I was doing this. My first question is, well, what about the other person? What did they say? How do they feel about it? And with Virgos, I don't have to do that. You guys are like in detail about everything, but then you also have a really bad habit of thinking negatively, not just about everything that's said to you because you analyze the shit out of everything, but you think negatively about yourself. This to me is saying you're trapping yourself mentally on purpose. You're not really trapped. But the question then becomes, why are you fearing a new beginning? And it may be because everything looks good. I mean, why do something new if you're comfortable with the way things are? And if this is something brand new that's just like out of nowhere, I can understand the mental fear, but you don't want to do that. There's no reason to ever fear anything. And again, life is too short for that. Stop it, Virgo. Stop doing that. Oh, your best path to follow. Intuitively, you know better. Seeing the high priestess there, here's the thing. I'm hearing it like quick. It's coming in quick here. You have a new opportunity coming through. You're not really sure where you are as far as mentally goes. Everything else in your life looks great, but there may be fear in moving forward. And what the high priestess is telling you to do is to just observe the situation first. Stop thinking so damn much about what could possibly happen or what could not possibly happen, and just observe. If you have somebody coming through that's offering this to you and maybe they're wanting to work with you, it looks good. It's just there's some fear that is blocking you. And again, it may be because you're so used to doing things on your own. But the high priestess too, pay attention to your intuition, And again, it goes back to passion, and that death will come. Life is too short. Life is too short to be stuck in fear, especially mental fear. So, don't feel like you need to take any immediate action on this. With it being in present conditions, I don't think that this is anything that's going to just like, oh, here, if you don't take this now, it's going to be gone. I think you're going to have the time that you need to kind of work through this issue. But again, you need to pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. That you intuitively knowing what is right is there. It's just, I think that you need to just sit back and look at things first before you make any clear-cut decisions on how to, best make the most of this. Oh, in your environment, the Seven of Swords. So I kind of get the feeling here that for some of you, you're not, I think you're hiding the way that you're thinking, the way that you're feeling. You're not really, open to this new opportunity. When you're looking at the Seven of Swords, first of all, it's sneaky, sketchy shit, but I don't see that with this deck. I see somebody who is like trying to pick up the pieces and, figure out the best way to move forward. But it's like, how do you do that, right? And with the high priestess being there again, it's one of those things where you're just going to have to observe the situation, especially if you've been through some difficult situations before. Because seeing that in your environment is suggesting to me that you've been through this kind of crap before. You don't want to go through it again, but you're really not ready to make a move. And if you are, you're not revealing that. I mean, both of it, it's like hidden, right? Because even with the Seven of Swords, it's somebody who is not really revealing all their plans, the way that they're thinking, the way that they're feeling. But I think that the fear is there because you may have had to pick up the pieces from some bad stuff. I mean, and you're doing it. You look okay. You do. You look fine. It may have been a lot of hard work to get to this point. But, I'm telling you, I don't feel like this is anything that's bad. This opportunity here is not bad. I think it's good. I think it scares you because, again, you're like picking up the pieces here. Oh, your hopes and your fears. Wow. The moon and the high priestess. Are you kidding me? The confusion. Being confused. Being mentally confused. Mentally blocked. When you're looking at the moon, I think for some of you, you may be like fearing that you're going towards something that isn't real. Because again, chasing illusions, right? The other part of it too is things that are being illuminated big time, coming to the surface that you're going to have to deal with. And it's going to have to do with the way that you're thinking. But I do think, and I get this strong feeling looking at this image, that you've been through some shit before and you've had to pick up the pieces on your own. And you may have had people that have like disrupted your life. And you've worked so hard to get to a point where you don't need anybody else. But if somebody is coming through with a new offer, you need to look at why. Why is it that you're thinking this way? You know, what are the emotions that are surrounding this? Because, you know, the moon also, to me, has to do with emotional turmoil as well. You know, and definitely things that are hidden are being revealed between the high priestess and the moon. But I do feel like it's being revealed to you for a reason, to get you out of that mental block. Because I do think that you're holding yourself back mentally. And again, you don't have to take any immediate action towards this. I think it's there. I just think that some of you are going to have to do, you know, some different kind of work here, some internal work, before you make any clear-cut decisions on how to best handle this coming through. Because this is fantastic. It looks great and you look great. But, you know, I can understand if you've had to bust your ass to get to this point. You know, why should I open up to something new when I'm okay now after having been through this kind of crap? But I do think that with the moon, you know, again, your intuition will let you know what is right for you. But be careful about fearing that you're chasing something that's not real, because it is there. It is there. It is right in front of you. Oh, and then the outcome, the Seven of Wands, taking a stand, right? Taking a stand for yourself. Especially if you've been left to pick up the pieces. Because I keep hearing that with this one. You know, the Seven of Swords, for me, I automatically think sneaky shit happening to you. But not, it would have been different if we would have seen like a court card in here. But I'm not seeing that. And with the moon being your hopes and your fears, I do think that you're fearing that you're chasing something that's not real. It can't be real, is what I'm feeling like looking at the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Swords. But seeing the Seven of Wands, you get to a point here where you start taking a stand for yourself and you start voicing exactly how it is that you feel and what you want. And I think that that's what you need to do before you act on anything new that is coming through. You know, you have to be sure. You have to be absolutely sure that this is what you want. You know, and when it comes to being, you know, right about feeling good about your position, absolutely. If you feel like you've done too much hard work to get where you're at, then maybe this isn't right for you. But maybe it is. And maybe it's just a situation where this may be coming through for you and there's a lot of excitement and a lot of passion, but maybe there are things that you need to deal with first, with your emotions and the way that you're thinking. But intuitively, you are going to know what is right for you. But I don't feel like there needs to be any immediate action. But I do like seeing that the Seven of Wands is what comes out here, because you get to a point where you're like, okay, if I do this, this is what I expect. You know, I don't see this as a situation as people like opposing your viewpoint. I think you're opposing your own viewpoint. And you're coming out of, you know, this mental fog and blocking yourself. All right, Virgo, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. But, you know, I can understand. You know, I'm like forced in this position where I'm like, no, don't do that to yourself. Go after that, right? But if you've had to work really hard to get your life back in order, that may be a difficult thing to just turn around and be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go with this new thing. You know, not when you have been left in this kind of a situation. I do think that once you start becoming more open to the magic in life and the magic of new opportunities that are just like, boom, here's a brand new gift. I think it'll be easier for you to start living from your heart. I don't think that there is a block in your heart center. I just think that you need to be open to the new opportunities that are coming through, because it may be coming through like magic, right? But I do think that there are some things that, you're going to have to work through with the moon and the high priestess and the eight of swords, especially if you've been through this situation. But definitely be open to new things, new magical things happening for you. And don't forget to live from your heart, because life is too short not to. Engagement, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. And then you have trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. So for some of you, if you are meeting somebody new, I think that you need to trust that, this relationship has the potential to go to higher levels. For those of you who are just getting into a relationship, it looks really good. It's just that you need to trust. You need to have faith. You deserve love. You are lovable. My problem with this one is, this to me is saying that you're not feeling the love. But, you may not be feeling the love because you may be blocked. And there may be some things that you're going to have to work through. I'm not seeing a lot of relationship cards in this. I think that this is, something different for you. Something apart from the relationship. But, for those of you who are in a relationship, damn it, you deserve to be loved just like everybody else. And it may just be, some bad mental thinking. Again, Virgo, stop doing that to yourself. Don't do that. There's nothing wrong with you. But overall, Virgo, I do like the fact that the Seven of Wands came out, because I do feel like you get to a point where you're no longer going to allow mental blocks to stop you from making the most of opportunities that come through for you. All right, Virgo, so I really do think that a lot of you have busted your ass to get where you are right now. And new offers coming through may be a little bit, like, wait a minute, scary, and there may be some fear here, which is understandable, especially if you've been through a situation here where you've had some sneaky stuff that has gone on. I'm looking at that particularly as past energy because of the image. I really do think that you were left to pick up the pieces after something really bad. And it's understandable why you may be blocking yourself mentally from moving forward. I mean, why would you? If everything is okay and you've had to bust your ass to get there, why should I do this? Why should I go after this? But intuitively, you are going to know what is right for you. And I do think that with the moon, these things are going to be illuminated for you, the way that you're thinking and the way that you're feeling. And I don't think that you need to take any immediate action towards this new offer. Whatever this is coming through, it goes along with you needing to follow your passions, because life is too short not to. But there's no point in making the most of a new opportunity if you are mentally blocked. And emotionally, you may be in turmoil here. There may be this riptide of emotions going on involving this situation. You're fine on your own. You're fine with the way things are. Why should I put anything new into the mix? But I do like the fact that you came out with the Seven of Wands, because I do feel like by the end of the week, you're going to get to a point where you start making a stand for yourself. And again, intuitively, you are going to know what is right for you. But I also think here you need to be open to the magic of new offerings, just boom, out of nowhere. And you do need to start living from your heart. It's understandable if you had a shock to the system and you had to pick up the pieces and bust your ass to get that security and stability. But you cannot block yourself permanently from living from your heart and following your passions. Because again, our time in the meat suit is short. You don't want to be in this lifetime constantly afraid of new opportunities because of things that you may have had to deal with. Now, when it comes to love, engagement, and trust, for those of you who are meeting somebody new, and this does have to do with a new relationship for the single Virgos, I do think that you need to trust that this is a situation that is going to be okay for you. Even though I feel like the relationship is going to move really quickly, which is where you're needing to have a little bit of faith. especially if you're doing not only work on the material plane, but on the inner plane as well. Now, when it comes to relationships, you deserve love kind of worries me. This card to me is saying that you're not feeling the love, but I think for some of you, you may not be feeling it because you're blocking yourself right now. And if you're thinking negatively about yourself, Virgo, damn it, stop it. There is nothing wrong with you. Seriously. Like, I know Virgos do this. You're beautiful people. There is nothing wrong with you, and you shouldn't block yourself from being able to feel the love, especially within a relationship. But again, I do love the fact that you get to the point here where you start making a stand for yourself, because this is exactly what you need to be doing.